We've subsidized oil companies for a century. That's long enough. It's time to end the taxpayer giveaways to an industry that rarely has been more profitable and double down on a clean energy industry that never has been more promising.
Those were the words of President Obama in his State of the Union address to Congress. It was a familiar theme.
That's why we've renewed our leadership within international climate change negotiations. That's why we've worked with other nations to phase out fossil fuel subsidies.
But his words were not lining up with his deeds. Just 3 days before that 2009 speech in Copenhagen, a little-known federal agency had awarded a $3 billion loan to a company that was soon to launch a massive liquefied natural gas project in Papua New Guinea. That agency was the Export-Import Bank of the United States. It was the largest loan the bank had ever issued, and it came with the backing of American taxpayers. As it turns out, it was also just the beginning of a $27 billion lending spree by the bank for fossil fuel projects around the world. In 2008, candidate Obama described the Exim Bank as
a little more than a fund for corporate welfare.
The company was ExxonMobil, the oil giant responsible for 1/20th of all carbon emissions in the world. The company that made $45 billion in profit the previous year. That's $120 million a day, $5 million an hour, $85,000 a minute, $1,433 a second. But when he spoke to Congress on January 24th, 2012, was the president aware of what had happened earlier that day in the southern Pacific island of Papua New Guinea?
Local authorities are trying to reach a remote area devastated by a landslide, which has reportedly buried scores of people.
ExxonMobil is offering earth-moving equipment to help locate people, but is denying the deadly rockfall is related to its operations in the area.
ExxonMobil subcontractor MTJB been working at Fobla drill in here. One is out there. Na Narabla been up there. Na Narabla been up that. Let's make 3. The 4 long and all been drill tableau. Then the slide been causing this landslide been come up.
Tanda bidi phayagala, tanda bidi phora bidi ngarwa, thona thimbuni bidi bidi.
Or not been passing hole. Now, or rabus now stone or got something to go down, all blocking water away, water big bla water, two bla river been run down here, not bla water been blocking.
Oh, in our family, kid, yeah, but no trouble. A Jackson media. Menda, oh, yon dog, have on yon dog. Tavidia. Mana, oh, yeah, but no video. Down here, but no mendo.
And then I'm still a ground been brook.
I'll piano out of Bili. Hombana, oh, Yamana, Onambidia. Tindiba, Harana. Then Tindibona. Oh, Borona Beno.
27 people were buried in that landslide in the remote village of Tumbi. None of the bodies were ever recovered, nor was there any effort to do so. Exxon had a different agenda. A critical road had been covered with debris. The project needed to stay on schedule. So the road was built directly above the bodies buried below. The PNG government, a financial partner in the venture, quickly absolved ExxonMobil, declaring the landslide had been caused by excessive rainfall, an act of God. But Exxon has secrets. Internal memos, investigative reports, and court documents all tell something different.
I talked to the director, and then I sent an email to everybody else concerned. The operation said the quarry were risky, and the quarry should be, shut immediately.
Did you say that in the memo?
Yes, I put that. quarry would collapse.
And why did they start demobilizing?
Because they received a report from the consultant that the mountain was going to come down.
You have here a very finely tuned, wonderfully rich, customary system of relationships that have developed over tens of thousands of years, and it becomes a delicate, fragile social environment. It works wonderfully well, but it is very delicate and fragile because it's so rich and complex. There's been a radical social experiment over the last 30 years, wherein the government, in collaboration with a number of resource operators, said, what would happen if we suddenly injected billions of dollars into these environments? The ones that have occurred to date have gone horribly wrong. Each experiment occurs, we discover that they cause unexpected and catastrophic consequences, but we're told each time this new experiment will be different.
Confusion, anger, fear, lawsuits, demonstrations, violence. The problems surrounding the LNG project keep adding up by the day. In Hela, tension is mounting.
The agreement on this land has been signed by somewhere else called in Mosby or Rubble or whatever, we don't know.
The agreement was not held in Hela province.
The agreement is a lunacy and an insanity.
So they took the agreement out of our province, that's in Kokopo.
They choose about 10 to 15 people to sign this agreement, and we don't know what sort of agreement they signed.
To make sure they signed, some were offered seed capital money. Some ministers made ministerial commitments.
The government failed us, they handpicked those who will agree to them. We lost everything.
If you don't sign, you don't get money. If you sign, then you get money. It's official bribery.
And then we were surprised that after signing an agreement in Kokopo, they just come in here and then with the equipment and other stuff and say, oh, this place has been paid up and we want to start a project.
Okay, awesome.
LNG project land no got one benefit from me block 30, power block something, gone and gas, well, all get the copper, all get that something no got wrong. Government no helping people good through.
No got many market, people don't know what the water supply, housing is bent down, people airport no good.
No got one good plus school, no got one good plus police station, you looking, people stop long.
Memang governor go Sierra Mosby, Peter only gives him money, he got developed in Naraba province. Now people are Tari Saba, people are Hela Saba now.
People are money all kiss him go, wall kiss him rich. Now all call him LNG ya, Hela now you missed up ya. Now no got one development me plug him. Okay, the money all wall talk again out pin him.
That's the issue, it needs to be addressed by the government, Papua New Guinea, the developer. It's an American company. We are the custodian to the guest. In return, we must get something. Free education for our children, good roads and bridges, relocation for the people. You know, when the gas is gone, our place will be dried up. How will we be? This is not a win-win. I lose and you're winning. Yeah.
ExxonMobil is actually improving the lives of the people, of the landowners, where the project stands. Most of them are actually welcoming ExxonMobil with open arms.
I've heard reports that guns are coming up here from a lot of different directions, and that the residents have more guns than the police or military. Are those reports accurate?
Yes, I would admit that there are a few guns, high-power guns like SLR rifle, Colt AR-15, AT rifles amongst the villages, but most of the weapons that we've actually encountered are homemade shotguns.
The mobile police squads, does ExxonMobil buy their weapons?
Yes.
This is a force that has been slammed by Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch for extrajudicial killings, torture, imprisonment of children. So if Exxon were to be doing something like that, it would be a scandal.
They become sort of a bit sensitive. They become sensitive. They actually take up defensive positions against the local people. They think that the people are there to hurt them, do all kinds of things against ExxonMobil, so they try to take a more defensive role.
Later this year, the gas will start flowing through Exxon's 500-mile pipeline to a massive plant where it will be turned to liquid and shipped to customers in China and Japan. And that too is when the money will start flowing. That is when the people of Papua New Guinea will find out if the promises they've been told are real. If they're not, things could get ugly.
That's what happens in PNG, you know. You got resource boom and you got gold and oil and now this LNG and but you don't see that trickling down to smaller people, you know. Unfortunately, some of us are not in that position to make decisions. We only do what we're supposed to do.
We have the advantage over those illegal weapons there. We don't fear them. We can tackle them.
Our resource is very, 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 very precious, and it's, you know, they are not providing anything, you know, provide us anything that we like. We are not money-hungry people. We are service-hungry people. Or we are Hela.
Mindi bi hanguro balu ba, hona bi hanguro balu ba, walo aito balu, farkamau.